Hello everybody, welcome to Books for Excellence show at Womenlines. Myself John Mattone, founder of Womenlines. Today I'm delighted to welcome John Mattone. John Mattone is world's top-ranked executive coach and author of new book, The Intelligent Leader, Unlocking the 7 Secrets to Leading Others and Leaving Your Legacy. Hi John.
Hi Charu, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So yeah, congratulations for the new book. It is sounding awesome.
Oh, I'm excited. My whole team's excited. The book actually launches here in less than 2 weeks on the 15th, and it's been quite a journey, Charu.
Right.
Quite a journey, very rewarding, and we're so excited about it getting out to the world.
Great. So John, please share what is special about Intelligent Leader and why people should read it.
Well, that's a great question. So, I've written a few books. This one, I felt the need to express my heart. So, when I speak on the platform, my heart comes out.
Right.
When I coach executives, my heart comes out. And I've always gotten feedback from, even though my books have done very, very well, humbly said, Charu, in the past, I always got feedback that they were a little bit too mechanical, a little bit too, quote unquote, industrial psychology oriented.
Okay.
Well, I have been working on my writing, and I really felt like I needed to cross that bridge into having the ability to express my heart through written language. And Charu, I'm so excited. I think I've done it. I really, really do. Wow. At least the early, it's so exciting. So I want to hopefully excite your audience to get the book.
Okay.
Because in the book, I talk about the 7 secrets to, not only exploding your own leadership, but what you can do to bring abundance to the world. And ultimately, I think that's what leadership is all about. It's about what you can, you know what I'm saying? It's about, at the end of the day, and I don't think a lot of people think this way, at least this is what I'm seeing in my coaching. At the end of the day, you've got to be able to put your head on the pillow and hold yourself accountable that you have touched positively the hearts, minds, and souls of people in your life, in your family, in your business. And ultimately, we're human beings. We're going to make mistakes, right? Right. So that the book is definitely deep in the sense that I think readers are going to have the ability to go deep into their quote unquote soul, have the opportunity through the stories that I share with executives that I've worked with, tools and templates, that they're going to have the ability to go really, really deep and explore themselves privately, what's working on the inside, what may not be working, but ultimately what they can do to do things differently in their lives to, in fact, become better leaders and ultimately bring more abundance to the world. So that's what I would say.
Beautiful. Must read, friends. Take a note of these secrets.
That's an important word. Absolutely.
Secrets are there, so you have to read that book. So
well, the thing is, they're not going to be secrets, though, much longer.
But yeah, to the time they read the book, they have to really go deep in that.
I agree. I agree.
So as a leader, John, how you develop yourself and grow? Can you share?
I think ultimately we just really touched upon it, Charu, that you've got to have the courage to go deep into your inner core. And I can't tell you how many executives I'm humbled to work with all over the world who, might be in their 50s or 60 years old. And they say to me, John, I should have done this deep work much earlier in my career. I would have been a much better leader. I would have had a better legacy and so on and so forth. I can't tell you how often that happens. And I think in many respects, that's what prompted me to really think about writing this book. And I think for, your audience who's going to be listening in here, I would encourage them to think about, ultimately the goal is touching hearts, minds, and souls. We have a responsibility to do that. I think that's why I think we've all been put on the earth, is to make the earth better. So the question is, at the end of the day, what have you done to actually achieve that goal? And ultimately, you've got to ask yourself the big questions, Charu, which a lot of people just don't ask themselves, like, why am I on the earth? What's my legacy? And so on and so forth. I think that's an important instigator to becoming a better leader, is asking yourself, and it takes courage to ask yourself those big questions. It takes courage to go deep into your soul. Those leaders and those people who do that successfully, and they constantly do it, are going to have a good life. That's what I've discovered, I guess, at 63 years old. I finally learned the answer, I think, to our own happiness, which is, helping others be happy. I think that's the key. How many people search, right? How many people search for happiness? They run around and they say, how do I get to be happy? Well, ultimately, the answer to happiness is literally right in front of us. It's helping others through our own courtesy, compassion, and altruism, right? Which is the key to touching hearts, minds, and souls, creating happiness. And when you create happiness with people around you, they make you happy. That's the answer, I believe, to leadership.
Correct. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
What do you think is the main challenge for millennial leaders at present?
Oh boy. No, I think that's a great question. And let me just say this, boy, the millennial talent in the world, incredible. Okay. I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged about the future.
Wow, that sounds positive. Otherwise,
yeah, Charu, in all the nations that I visit, I'm always blown away with the massive young talent. Okay. And boy, I see so many of these young millennials who are going to do exactly what it is that we're talking about. Wow. I think there's some things that we want the millennials to be aware of. One is that the work-life balance challenge it's not going to go away. It's only going to get more intense. Very true. And I think, and I think the book actually, when the millennials, and I think the millennials are going to really eat this book up, because they're going to see in the 7 secrets, my goodness, if I actually understand these 7 secrets, embrace them, practice them, role model them, you know what I'm saying, embody them, you will actually create a more balanced life. And I think it's not only millennials, but it's everybody. Think of all the stimuli hitting us. So I think that's important. I think the second thing too for millennials is one of the things that I've seen shared by a lot of the CEOs that I work with is the ability to handle conflict. And it takes courage to give feedback to others. It takes courage, right? It takes courage to go to your manager and say, here's what I think. And really not wait on your manager to ask you for feedback. It's about being proactive. It's about being anticipatory. It's about being urgent, responsive, right? It's also about being professional. And I think in many respects, the technology, while the technology is a beautiful thing and it's making us more efficient, more effective, I think we can over rely on it. And I see a lot of the younger people who aren't as good actually in the people component, right? And that's, again, and I think the book addresses that, so that's what I would say.
Fantastic. So
yes.
What is the most important tip you can give to readers and viewers for developing leadership skills? Can you share something?
Yeah, so anyway, when I had the incredible opportunity to do a little bit of work with Steve Jobs back in 2010, I had never actually created, I guess, the construct. This is one of the secrets in the book. I had never really created the construct and the details around the construct. But lo and behold, what I learned from Steve Jobs was that, and he didn't really use this word, but we use this word now, the decision to be vulnerable, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞,
Okay.
is, in my mind, the absolute key to growth in a human being, in any pursuit in life. Now, we're talking leadership development. If you want to become an agile leader that truly brings a higher level of achievement, stronger levels of affiliation, more abundance, if you're an organization that's trying to create a culture of agility
Correct.
and
That's
versatility.
Every leader, I suppose. Everybody wants that.
Everybody wants that. So when Steve Jobs said to me, he said, John, you know, here I am, I'm about a year before dying, and I now get it. You know, I should have done this work a long time ago. Now, when we were having the discussion, I wasn't thinking about the vulnerability decision, but that's been reinforced in all my coaching work, that when I look at these people who are just unbelievably, and it's not only, you know, it's not about level, like we're talking about CEOs here. I'm just talking about how do you become the best that you can be, right?
Yes,
and ultimately, you've got to make the decision to be vulnerable. That's the instigator to growth. And lo and behold, a lot of people look at that decision as weak. Well, guess what? It's not. Actually, we need to condition our mindsets that it's the most courageous decision that we can make. And oh, by the way, when we see it as a courageous decision, that's the instigator to truly becoming the best that we can be. And then you role model that to your family, you role model it to your people, and they look at you and they say, there's a leader.
Yeah. So vulnerable means that accept your weaknesses easily and show it to the world that, yes, I have this and I want to talk about it. Is it so?
It is, and it is definitely multifaceted. I definitely think there's a notion of just being open to perspectives. I think vulnerability also is having the openness to look inside, and that's why the book is going to be an instigator to that. You know, it's going to give you the courage on this journey as you read the chapters to continue to go very, very deep. You know, I'm not a clinical psychologist, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞. I'm more on the industrial psychology side. I'm all about going deep, but not too deep. I think the key, and I think this is why this book I'm so excited about it. I think the book will bring people deep, but it's going to provide them a bridge to answering the question, all right, John, you've brought me deep. Now what am I going to do with all this stuff?
Correct.
You know, so I'm not going to let people hang. I think when people read the book, they're going to see, wow, here's some amazing practical things that I can do every single day to think different, think big, to be vulnerable, to leverage my strengths. And people are going to be excited about practicing those. And so that's what I would say.
Fantastic. My last question will be, who is your favorite leader?
Oh, my goodness. Well, let me give you three names of people that I never met these people. Actually, I'm going to give you four names.
Why not, please?
Okay. So, Nelson Mandela.
Wow.
Unbelievable leader.
Definitely.
And the sacrifice and the vulnerability and the thinking the different, unbelievable. Martin Luther King.
Amazing. Hats off.
I got chills, you know, as I mentioned these people. Mother Teresa.
Beautiful. I love her. I mean, nobody like her. Definitely. So much to learn.
So you think about those three, there's a really good summary of the intelligent leader. Because when you think about what those three brought to the world, they brought to the world altruism. They brought to the world the heart, the courage to show your heart. There's so much intellect in the world. And basically, I don't even care. You know, honestly, I go into executive meetings and I sit around and I say, boy, that person's smart. They're smart. They're smart. But none of it differentiates. That's not the differentiator. The differentiator is the heart. So I encourage all your followers, Charu, and the people who support you, and what a privilege to be talking with you and everybody in your network. I want them to think about what they can do to show their heart more, because ultimately that is going to differentiate them in life. It's going to give them a more abundant life.
Very true.
They're gonna be stronger leaders. And oh, by the way, at the end of the day, there's something called legacy. And there's a lot of young people who don't think about that, you know? Why do I need to think about that? I'm 25 years old. Well, it's never too early to start thinking about how your life's going to be remembered, because ultimately when you start to think about your life as a journey that is not about you, the journey that we're on is not about us. It's about what you can do to bring abundance to the world. All of a sudden it raises the bar.
Wow. Awesome. Lovely share, I must say. Thank you so much, John, for your time. All the best. My best wishes for the success for the book. And
thank you.
Please, friends, do check out the book. Do buy it. It's a must read. Whoever wants to be a leader in life.
Thank you, Charu.
All the best. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.